In Power Rangers you cannot measure power, and this is why it is very difficult to know who are the most powerful Rangers. The best we can do is to look for the advantages that each team has to know which one can be more powerful, and this is something quite complex since all the Power Rangers are quite similar. All the teams have the same concept, although not all of them have the same theme, experience, weapons, and some other important details. This is why we are going to identify the most powerful teams by looking for some of these advantages that each team has. Remember that this is only my opinion, since there are no numbers here that can certify that a team is more powerful than another. It is only my perception, and each person may have a different opinion. That's why I ask you to write in the comments your 5 most powerful teams and mention some advantages. Number 5, Wild Force. This team is made up of 5 original Rangers and a 6th Ranger that could help them a lot, plus he is a very powerful Ranger. These Rangers have a great connection with nature and can summon the spirits of animals, which makes them very powerful. Each Ranger has a specific animal, and all these animals are very strong separately. Even though their leader, the Red Ranger, is a rather strange person due to his history, he still manages to turn the team into very powerful Rangers. We all know that animals are a powerful force of nature, and I think this is the biggest advantage this team has because of the great connection they have with the wild world. Number 4, Power Rangers SPD. This team has several members who have managed to change positions and colors, which makes them very versatile. You also must understand that these Rangers are from 2025, and in the timeline of the series this is a very advanced year, although in our reality there is not really that much technology yet. Each of these Rangers have different abilities which gives each member an advantage separately, and when they team up then they have an even greater advantage. In this era the Rangers have great technology and can use this to finish off many powerful enemies. Another thing I like about this team is that they have great police training, and this can be a big advantage over other Ranger teams, as almost always all Rangers start out without any serious training. The mentor of these Rangers is also a very powerful member of the team and is most powerful when he manages to transform into a Ranger. This team has faced incredible villains, and despite this they have managed to defeat them all. Something important that this team has is that one of its members comes from the future, the Omega Ranger, which has spectacular abilities and could be one of the greatest advantages for the SPD team. Number 3, Time Force. This team comes from the year 3000, which makes them the team with the best technology, and this is the biggest advantage they can have over any other team. They have managed to travel through different moments in time and have had to face very powerful enemies. It is even said that the main enemy of this season is the most powerful villain of all time, and regardless of the outcome of that battle, the Time Force Rangers deserve everyone's respect for having faced this villain. Each member of this team is very important, but we must highlight their leader, the Pink Ranger, and also the Red Ranger. These 2 Rangers prove that they are very powerful and could be among the most powerful Rangers in the history of Power Rangers. Even in the comics these Rangers have proven to be very important and also very powerful, as they have had to save other teams. Although in the TV series they didn't show it, we suppose that this team has had to travel in time on several occasions to save many teams from some danger that they don't even imagine that exists. The high technology of their time and time travel are the greatest advantage this team has. Number 2, Dino Fury. I know that many will be surprised that I have chosen this team, as it is the most recent team, and sometimes many think that only the older teams are very powerful. The reality is that this team has certain advantages that no other team has, and this makes them extremely dangerous for any enemy. The first thing is that within this team there are two very old Rangers, which could know the power from a long time ago and could defeat all the enemies of their time. The Red Ranger and the Gold Ranger were able to defeat all the monsters and managed to survive all the destruction at that time. In addition to this team managed to obtain two different powers, since in the first two seasons they had the power of the dinosaurs connected to the statues, and then they obtained the orbs that connected them in another way to the power. Along with the new power, they also managed to find other Zords, which are a legend due to their power and versatility. These Rangers have faced many powerful enemies and have something else that no team has ever had. They have managed to have the closest connection that no one has ever had with the Morphin Masters, and this has helped them in the most difficult moments, in addition to obtaining two very powerful weapons. Lastly, the leader of this team became a Morphin Master, and the new leader of the team was also amazing at all times. Number 1, Mighty Morphin. Even though it seems obvious to choose this team because of their fame, the reality is that I'm not putting them first because of that, and I'm going to mention all their advantages. Honestly, I had to think whether they were the second or the first team, since the Dino Fury have incredible advantages, but the Mighty Morphin has something more important. The best advantage this team has is experience, and this is something that no Morphin Master can give you, since you must live through a lot of things to get this. The Mighty Morphin fought many powerful monsters and villains. They even managed to defeat Lord Zed many times. Lord Zed has always been a very powerful villain who has destroyed Zords, and many villains are afraid of him. The Mighty Morphins have had to face this villain and a villain like Rita Repulsa, who is also a very powerful sorceress. One great advantage this team has is that all its members have been leaders at some point, as Jason was the first leader, Tommy was the second, Zack and Billy were the leaders in the special episode, Trini is the current leader of the Omega Rangers, and Kimberly is a leader of another team when she became a Ranger Slayer. In addition to this, Tommy is known as the legendary Ranger and possibly the most powerful Ranger of all time, so this takes this team to another level. Another great advantage of this team is that their mentor Zordon is one of the wisest beings in the universe, besides being a warrior feared by all villains, and has been the one who has guided this team for many years. Power Rangers costumes are important, and this is a combination of the costume and the helmet, as both have different characteristics that make them unique. Even on this channel we had to make two separate videos in order to define the best helmets and the best costumes among all the teams. Today's top is a little different, as we are going to look for the Rangers separately that have the best suits, but this will also include their helmet, shield, and all the details that have their image in general. In the other videos we could not include many special Rangers because many of them do not have the same costume as the rest of the team, and that is why in this video, we will talk about the Rangers separately, although there are costumes that the whole team has. Number 10, Magna Defender. This special Ranger has the most different costume in the whole franchise, since it doesn't look like anything we've seen before, and all his clothes doesn't look like a Ranger's but like a medieval knight. This is one of the few costumes in which the helmet combines perfectly with the rest, and, if we put them separately, we could quickly identify that the helmet is from that particular costume. His horns give him a more aggressive and menacing style to let his enemies know to be afraid of him. Even when you look at this Ranger you might get confused and not know if he is a hero or a villain. On his chest he has that hexagon that makes him look like a mystical being, and because his costume looks medieval, then this combination between the past and the future makes him look magical. Number 9, Megaforce Team. As I said before, sometimes the entire team has the same costume, and the helmets are so similar that we can't choose a specific Ranger only. In the case of Megaforce, all the colors look great with this style of suit and helmet, so I decided to include the whole team in the list. The suit that I like is the Megaforce 1, the one with white pants, and because of this color combination the Rangers stand out a lot. In this combination we can see the white color, the black color in some areas, the gold color in almost all the details, and the specific color of each Ranger. The theme of this series is pirates, and I think they knew how to represent this very well in the costumes. The helmets are also spectacular and go very well with the costume. Number 8, Mighty Morphin Green and White Ranger. In this position I must do something a little special since the same Ranger has had 3 of the best costumes in the entire history of the franchise, and in order not to repeat, then I decided to include all those costumes in this same position. Tommy Oliver started with the green suit, which was very special because of the shield and the shape of his helmet. Both of those things are iconic, especially the shield, which is the most famous shield in the whole franchise. Then, he started wearing the white suit, which has a helmet that represents his theme very well, and the shield has also become iconic among fans of the series. The best thing about this suit is the combination of colors, since the white color with all those details in gold color and some things in black color to complement are one of the best combinations that we can see. In the 3rd season he started to use the Ninjetti suit, which you already know is my favorite, and here we can include the whole team since only the color changes. This suit represents the theme perfectly and has a unique style that separates itself from the rest of the Rangers in the whole franchise. Number 7, SPD Shadow Ranger. This is one of the most impressive suits we have seen in the last 30 years, and the material looks different. It does not seem to be the typical spandex suit, and it has many details that are made of another material. I really like the color combination, and the black color with the red details are impressive, but that blue color gives it the superhero style. The helmet looks spectacular, and the entire design is worthy of a very powerful Ranger. Number 6, Cat Ranger from SPD. In this same SPD team there is the Cat Ranger, which has a white and orange outfit with black accents. There is always a debate between the color designation of this Ranger, since the video games place her as an orange Ranger and the comics as a white Ranger, but in the series, this was never specified. The important thing is that this costume is spectacular. The helmet has a great style that represents her feline theme very well, and the colors match very well. Number 5, Lunar Wolf Ranger from Wild Force. The best thing about this costume is the helmet, as we can say that it is one of the best designs we have been able to see in the entire franchise. The helmet perfectly represents the theme of the series and also its animal, which is obviously the wolf. That silver color represents the colors that wolves normally have, and the entire costume design is also spectacular. Number 4, White Ranger from Wild Force. This Ranger's helmet is also one of the best Power Rangers helmets out there, and I'm sure every fan has it on their list of best helmets. The color scheme is spectacular, as she is a white Ranger but has pink accents that give that feminine style to the entire design. The helmet perfectly represents the theme of the series, and you can clearly see the design of her animal. The gold color has always combined perfectly with the white color, so this Ranger has one of the best combinations and designs in the whole franchise. Number 3, White Ranger of Mystic Force. We know there are a lot of White Rangers on this list, but the reality is that this Ranger's costume couldn't be left out of this top. From the first moment you look at this Ranger you can tell that she represents a mystic being, and you can easily recognize that she must have a lot of power or a special power. The helmet of this Ranger is full of mystery, but being a white-colored suit, it inspires you enough confidence to have peace. The shield of this costume is very original, and the snowflake symbol on the helmet gives us some detail of her powers. Number 2, Zeo's Gold Ranger. In this case I don't care which Ranger used this costume, the important thing is that the whole costume is spectacular, and we must accept that it must be among the best costumes in every fan's list. The color scheme is simple, black with gold details, and that gold color is quite shiny. The design of his shield is one of my favorites as it perfectly represents the theme of this season, and the gold knee pads is something quite original. This Ranger's helmet has also been very iconic in the franchise, and for all these reasons this costume is one of the best we've seen. Number 1, Dino Thunder's White Ranger. From the first time I saw this costume I couldn't believe how awesome and stunning this costume is, and there's no way anyone can say that it's not one of the best costumes in the entire history of Power Rangers. The entire design makes him look like a super powerful and wild ranger, plus the color scheme is perfect. It may seem a bit simple since it only has white, black, gold, and red, but the impressive thing about the combinations is knowing how to put the colors in the right places. The red helmet visor makes him look very menacing, and obviously we must remember that this ranger started out as a villain, so the suit is perfect for being an evil ranger as well. The shield matches perfectly with the entire costume, and I like that the white color is from the helmet to his boots without interruption. The best thing about this costume is all those spikes that represent dinosaur teeth, and the most amazing thing is that they are all over the costume. There are so many options and so many spectacular costumes, that's why this list was so hard to make. One of the most important things in Power Rangers is the theme of each season, as that will define the style of most things. The costumes, the Zords, the powers, the transformations, the weapons, and many other things will be driven by the theme. Let's make a list of the top 10 themes in my opinion, but first we should mention that Power Rangers doesn't choose the themes, as that comes from Sentai. Since this list will be based on my opinion, I invite you to mention your top 10 themes in the comments. One surprise is that at the end of this video I'll be showing a theme I've been creating that I wish you could one day create in Power Rangers or Sentai. Number 10. Power Rangers Zeo is one of my favorite themes, and it is based on ancient civilization. That's why they use pyramids, gold, and textures similar to the stone drawings that come from those civilizations. It is a little sad that the Power Rangers costumes are so basic, since a style like this could have been squeezed much more, and this was demonstrated with the designs made by the designer Tokujay. Here we can see that the artist managed to capture all the essence of this theme, and we can see how amazing this style really is. Besides the theme of the ancient civilization, they also mix some things based on Zeo crystals, and that is why the helmets have those geometric figures. Number 9. Power Rangers RPM has a theme of cars and speed. We know that Turbo Season also has this same theme, but we must admit that RPM knew how to take better advantage of it. One of the things I like the most about this style that RPM has are the belts on the suits, as they are identical to the belts used by professional car racers. In addition, the suits also have some wheels in various places, and all this creates a great combination. Despite all those awesome details, I think the best of all are the blasters, as it is the same thing we use to fuel the cars, and I think that was an excellent idea. Number 8. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but we are going to refer to the first season since here the initial theme is more marked. Although many think that the style of this season is dinosaurs, the reality is that it is based on prehistoric animals. In this season we can see the Tyrannosaurus, but we can also see the Mastodon, which is not a dinosaur. Although the costume design has nothing of the prehistoric animal style, the helmets do have this style. My favorite part of this season's theme is the Zords, as it completely captures the style of the animals and machines. Number 7. Power Rangers SPD has become the favorite season for many fans, and one of the reasons is because of its theme based on cops. When we were kids, many of us wanted to become policemen, and they are the first heroes who risk their lives to save others. That is why this style works very well for a children's series, and in this season they knew how to take advantage of this theme very well. The Zords, the costumes, the command center, the ranks, and even the way in which they catch the villains has a marked police style. Number 6. Power Rangers Mystic Force is based on magic and natural elements. I know that many will criticize me for including this season in this list since many did not like this season, but the reality is that I am a big fan of magic. Another thing I should mention is that creating a theme based on magic is very complex, since you can create something ridiculous for superheroes. Normally, in superhero stories the wizards are almost always the villains, and we have seen that many times in Power Rangers. However, in this season the Rangers also use the magic style, and everything looks amazing. Number 5. In this position we are going to mention Power Rangers Wild Force and Jungle Fury because they have a very similar theme. Both seasons have a different style, but their themes are based on wild animals. Obviously, each season has different things, but the basic style is wild animals, and because both seasons knew how to use this style well, then I must mention both of them. From the helmets, the Zords, the costumes, and everything that involves these two seasons, they have a spectacular style. Number 4. Power Rangers Ninja Storm. The only thing wrong with its theme is the season logo, but everything else is amazing. The style of this series is a combination of ninja and atmospheric natural phenomena. This includes winds, tornadoes, storms, thunderstorms, and many other things. I think this theme was a great combination, since the power of nature is one of the most impressive things in real life, and the way they combined all this with the ninja style was perfect. Number 3. Power Rangers Dino Thunder, and in this season we can already talk about dinosaurs. We know that there are other seasons that also use dinosaurs as a theme, but in my opinion I think Dino Thunder used this style better, and that's why I don't include the other seasons. I have even previously said that the costumes of this series are among the best costumes of the entire franchise, and this is partly due to the style of the series. By the way, a curious fact about this season is that they never had a Pink Ranger. However, in the comic Power Rangers Unlimited of the Morphin Masters, the emissary that accompanies Kimberly was transformed into the Pink Ranger of Dino Thunder, and it can be seen in the logo on her chest. Number 2. In this position we are going to talk about a small controversy, and it is that the series that I want to include here is Megaforce, but I am also going to mention Super Megaforce. Let's explain this as briefly as possible, and that is that Megaforce is based on angels and Super Megaforce is based on pirates. However, Saban wanted to ignore the theme of Super Megaforce, even though in Sentai this is the style it has. To understand this better, in Sentai, Megaforce is one team and Super Megaforce is a different team. This is why both seasons in Sentai are different, but in Power Rangers they decided to merge them, and this is why they had so many strange changes. The controversy of all this is bigger, but we must continue with the video and mention that both themes are awesome. Number 1. In the third season of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers everything changed, and the Rangers started with a different ninja style. This theme has always been my favorite, and I can't hide my love for the costumes the Rangers used. Although there are other seasons based on ninjas, I think the Mighty Morphin costumes with the ninjetti power were the ones that best captured the essence of the real ninjas. Normally, ninjas use black in their costumes since they must not be seen by their enemy, but since this is a fantasy series, it was spectacular to be able to see these costumes with different colors. Now I am going to introduce you to the Power Rangers team that I have created and has the theme of the elements of nature, but with a little change. We start with the Blue Ranger, the leader of this team, who uses the water element, but normally he will use it in the form of ice or snow. His main weapon is an ice axe, and this ranger also has the power to control water in any of its forms. He is a very intelligent ranger, and his best talent is to create strategies. We continue with the Green Ranger, which uses the earth element, and this is going to be a wild ranger that will dominate the entire jungle. His main weapon is a magic hammer with which he can break any rock, create earthquakes, and protect him from any spell. Next is the Red Ranger, which uses the fire element. This ranger does not burn with anything, heat does not affect him, and he has the power to throw fire and volcanic lava. His main weapon is a fire sword that can cut anything, and his personality is to be a very reserved ranger because he gets angry easily. The last ranger is the Yellow Ranger, and she is the small change because instead of using the air element, I decided to make this ranger use energy. This ranger always lives in the big cities, and you can mistake her for anyone, but she really has the power to control electrical energy, including thunder. Her main weapon is a futuristic gun that simply works to channel all the energy and direct it to a specific point. His personality is very cheerful, he talks a lot and never gets tired. His suit has a more futuristic style due to the fact that he comes from the future, but since the right technology does not exist in this era, she could not return to her real time. These four rangers are very different in everything, but because the Blue Ranger is a great leader, they will form an excellent team. With the elements fire, water, energy, and earth, this team will be called Power Rangers Elemental Force. If you want us to talk more about this team, build a villain, a mentor, and also a little more of the story, write it in the comments, like this video and subscribe for more Power Rangers styles.